what do you got going on pong wise these days? It's been a
Uh,
minute since I've tapped into the pong.
yeah. Well, we just finished Vengeance, and it was a little. I don't know. It's the weather. It's global warming. It's so fucking hot out, and everyone
Yeah,
is a little subdued.
yeah,
Um, we did. I was running out of shit to do. Honestly, if I'm being totally honest, I didn't really know what to do with the guys. We did the
yeah,
usual ceremony stuff, and
yeah,
I could just see the crowd was they just weren't feeling it. So I talked to my guys and I was like,
yeah.
let's do the we did the Lena Dunham pinata as like a closing ceremony. I was like, let's just fucking do
Yeah.
it. I was gonna save that for Convergence, but Vengeance seemed better. So I pulled that out, hung it up from a tree, and everyone took turns hitting it,
Mm-hmm.
This guy, Jason, it's the last one in line. Thing
Mm-hmm.
hadn't popped yet, and
Yeah.
he hits it. All the candy that was inside of it was completely melted because it was so hot. This goo just poured out of it, and
Yeah.
he hit her right in the stomach,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
just kind of split her. Um, and all the guys ran over there and started grabbing just this goo, and they just started eating it. It wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Yeah, it got you over the finish line.
Yeah, and now we can reconvene and figure out what we're gonna do with Convergence.
Yeah. Well, I saw you guys all went to a splash park, like a
Oh yeah,
splash pad at a park
yeah,
afterwards. So that was cool. We got to clean up there. I
that
saw
was fun.
some guys soaping up,
Yeah, everyone was pretty gooey.
showering up. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. It's always fun in those times. I remember we had a pong in Phoenix one year, and it was, God, it must have been like 110 degrees, and we just had a water fight. You know,
Yep.
it was just like everybody. We were gonna do a hike through the desert where we tried to just get as dehydrated as we possibly could to get like a sweat lodge thing to get visions.
Right.
But it was like the lawyers wouldn't let us do it. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just have a water fight. So we just got a bunch of solo cups, red solo cups,
Mm-hmm.
got the hose out, and just started just, squirting
Oh, that's
everybody.
fun.
Slip. We got the ground so wet and muddy because we must have wasted, man. I can't even imagine the bill at that Airbnb. Water bill must have been insane. But we turned the whole backyard into like the mud pit at Woodstock, and we were just slipping around.
It's a lot of fun.
Uh, yeah, it was amazing.
Welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast, where three grown men pass the time by sharing their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
I'm glad that Mike isn't going to kill himself.
Yeah, that's right. I want to let everybody know that the not the main reason we're recording, but one of the reasons we're recording is because Mike said if we didn't, he would kill himself, which I think is a very manipulative thing
That's
to do to people.
very sick.
Yeah, he's a really sick guy. Not because he's going to kill himself. He's not, but he's just a very twisted, mentally unwell person. He's always threatening to kill himself over stupid stuff. Oh man. I was in Chicago last week.
How's that?
It was cool. It was it's a real cool, chill city. Good vibes.
A good city.
Went to the beach. Went to Millennium Park. What's that,
You
John?
see Mike?
Yeah, saw Mike. His hands are huge.
Yeah, he always had enormous, like they're shockingly weird hands because he's pretty small.
Yeah. Tiny guy with massive hands.
Decent sized dick.
Yeah, pretty good sized dick. You can tell it's girthy from the
Yeah.
footage he showed me.
Oh, he showed you the video.
Yeah, show me a couple videos.
Yeah.
I was on the plane ride over to Chicago, and it seems to happen to me all the time. I step into the bathroom to use the bathroom, and the thing is just fucking disgusting. There's just like condoms everywhere. The place smells like lube. You know, people have obviously been just coming on the walls. Nobody cleans up after themselves. It's disgusting. Like people
Right.
go there and they want to fuck, which is cool. They want to jack off. They want to squirt, whatever. But just they don't clean up after themselves. So what I was thinking would be cool is if you had a bathroom. There's one bathroom, and then you had another one, another room where people could go and fuck, and it could just be a curtain. You know what I mean? Like you just pull a curtain, you can go there and you can fuck somebody, jack off, do whatever you want, and you could just leave all your detritus there, and then you just hose it off when they land, and then the seat adjacent to this fuck room would have tons of leg room, but you'd have to make clear to the people who have that seat, like as they're getting on a plane, like, look, you're going to hear some noises. There's going to be some sex going on. It's pretty heavy stuff, rough sex. Crazy shit goes on an airplane. You might get cum on you. You might get lube on you. Are you okay with that? And in exchange, you're the first one to get snacks. You're closest to the bathroom. Got tons of leg room. I think that'd be cool.
It's sort of like the mega bus of air travel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a cheaper flight, maybe a little more fun. It's more like geared towards college kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And freaks,
Yeah, you just sign a waiver at the beginning so you don't have to, if you don't feel like wearing your seatbelt the whole time, like if there's turbulence, you can get up and walk around, do whatever the hell you want. But if you get like your head bashed in, that's on you.
Right.
You know how they used to have those megabus deals where it'd be like $1? If you're the first one to buy a ticket. I always thought it'd be cool is if you were like, if you lived with your parents and your partner lived with their parents, you just each get $1 megabus ticket and you just jack each other off and fucking shit, from one city to the next. It's basically like like an opportunity for you guys to be alone. Cheaper than a hotel room.
Way cheaper. You just get up there and fly. Having your own private, pilot for a while.
Yeah. Just do whatever the hell you want in there.
Have you ever have you had sex on the plane?
No. How about you?
Have you jacked off in one?
You definitely jacked off.
You have?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like you didn't jack off when on a plane to Europe when you guys toured there?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, I definitely did.
I was so I got like drunk.
Oh yeah.
I'd like whiskey dick. I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
I like to spread my legs. Like if I'm gonna jerk off and stand up, I like to spread my legs pretty far.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's just not enough room to do it.
Yeah. Like you're doing the splits.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not exactly the splits, but I'm it's all I'm 6'5", so
sure.
My legs at least probably spread my legs at least 6 feet.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a little tiny bathroom.
You can't. That's the problem I always had with fucking in a bathroom. It just doesn't seem like it'd be worth it.
It's not. It's a lot of work.
It's just to say you did it. It's not actually
right.
I don't think it would be. It wouldn't be that hot for me.
That's why I'm doing. I took out a loan. I'm gonna blow out my bathroom and do a bigger one.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to get 6 feet on all sides. Like, so I can do it however I want. I can hop out of the shower and just fucking spread my legs and jack off.
Yeah.
Mirrors on the door. The regular mirror, the vanity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a mirror, maybe a shower mirror.
Yeah.
Like one of the squeegee things.
Yeah.
Because I also like to spread my own ass and look at it.
Yeah.
When I jack off.
Yeah. How cool would it be? How cool would it be to have to have a mirror floor too.
Oh, that'd be sick.
This is a true story. When we worked at I worked at an art supply store with you and Mike, and at one location, we would have like scrap pieces of mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I propped like a small piece of mirror up on the toilet. It was like it wasn't a urinal, it was just like a toilet, so so you could look at your dick in the mirror while you pissed. You know.
It's also a true story. My brother worked at it was like a clothing company,
Mm-hmm.
and they somehow landed this like really swanky office, and it had these like black marble floors in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And they were so shiny that if you were peeing in the urinal and you looked into the stall, the ground, you could see the reflection of the person that was shitting. So he could like he saw all of his friends testicles, and then eventually they started bringing in cardboard and just putting it on the ground.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
I think I'd lean into that. I think it'd be fun. I would just hang out in there even if I didn't have to shit or piss, just to like kill time while not working.
I like putting on a show.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how cool would it be to like what you're talking about, like checking out your own hole and stuff like that? I bet you could make some kind of retrofit, like a lazy boy, to include different cameras, different lighting. So it's basically like you're sitting there. It's like a gamer's chair, and instead of having like 3 monitors in front of you with different games on it, you're just having different. Like one of them can have porno, the other one can have a video of your hole. The other one can just have like a TV show that you like on.
It's like bordering on like a hospital bed type thing.
Yeah.
It's like getting a colonoscopy, and there's multiple screens up that you can just like do whatever with.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You could just like control, like there's one of those like tracker balls or whatever, like that they use instead of a mouse.
Yeah,
you can just control this camera up your hole.
Yeah,
it'd feel pretty good. We get a lot of we have a PO box, and people will send us a lot of products, hoping that we'll review them or look at them on air or whatever. I haven't really gotten around to it, but one of them piqued my interest. It was like it was about a 4-inch bullet, and it was called the Dream Zone. And apparently what you do is you can put it in whatever hole you want. If you're a female genitalia, anus, they don't say you can put it in your mouth. Basically what it does is it gives off a vibration throughout the night. So you sleep with it inside of you, and it gives off a vibration throughout the night that triggers a frequency in your brain. Like it vibrates your asshole and taint, and it gives off a frequency in your brain that lets you lucidly dream.
Oh, nice.
So you can dream about getting just absolutely blown out. Your ass just punished by whatever.
It's like a horny melatonin.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And puts you to sleep, and it keeps you sleeping.
But while you're in full conscious control of your dreams, you're having this device stimulate you, so you can imagine whatever you want. It's like being having like a lucid wet dream, basically.
Yeah.
That you can interact with. Like I said, I haven't tried it. It also came with a bottle of lube that's 3-in-1. It's sunscreen, bug repellent, and lube, all in the same liquid. So, like, if you're going on a trip, that's all you need.
Yeah,
it's called 3-in-1 fun.
I bet that I bet that also helps with like pH balances and stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Because like when women go to bed, they usually just kind of dry up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah.
That keeps it flowing down there, keeps everything moving.
It keeps the blood circulating.
Supposed to help with menstrual cramps, shit like that. Sounds cool.
Yeah, and it also like, how they have those devices where like you'll just like electrostimulate your muscle and like engages your muscle. It kind of does that with like a Kegel. It acts as like a Kegel, whether it's in your ass or your vagina.
Yeah.
And it strengthens it while you sleep. Oh, while you sleep. I mean, how incredible is that? Anyways, that's really what nice. that kind of reminds me of that. I was listening to I just had a Police song on the other day. And I was thinking, if you had a year to practice, do you think you could be a touring drummer for Sting? If like you had a year off where you just like worked on your chops.
And I had like I had an instructor maybe too.
You had access to whatever resources Sting had.
I don't think so.
Really?
That guy's very good.
The Police guy?
Yeah. It's Stuart Copeland.
Oh, really? Yeah, he is pretty good. I've heard that name before.
He's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, you think you could fill in on guitar or something like that?
No, I don't think so. I think for a live, why I was thinking about it is I think for a live show, for like on tour.
Oh, maybe a fill in. Yeah.
Like for a studio album, definitely not.
No.
But how cool would that be to be on tour with the Police?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Are they band again?
I don't think so.
Sting he does tantric, right?
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely.
His thing.
Yeah.
What's that mean actually?
I don't know. I think my understanding of it, I could be wrong, is that like you hit a point where you're just in like a constant state of orgasm, basically.
Okay.
Like through like meditation and like control of your own body, you're basically like having these orgasms that last several minutes, not longer. I think that's ungodly. I don't think people should be messing around with roping in that way.
No, I wonder if he has to batch up in order to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like wait 3 weeks and then just.
Yeah, I'm like, is he edging? It's like before that.
I think it's both, but it's spiritual too.
Yeah, there's something really spiritual to it. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Just so I don't want to give anybody any misinformation.
Yeah, imagine finding, you're the Police, you're on tour. You meet a groupie, and you come inside of her for 4 straight minutes.
Yeah,
seems dangerous. Yeah, even a condom wouldn't stop that cum from bursting the bag.
The sperm would just eat right through the plastic. That much sperm, it would just burst through.
Right.
All right. Tantric sex refers to a range of practices in Hindu and Buddhist tantra that utilizes sexuality in a ritual or yogic context. Tantric sex is associated with antinomane elements such as consumption of alcohol and offering of substances like meat to deities. Moreover, sexual fluids may be viewed as power substances and used for ritual purposes, either externally or internally. Now we're talking. This is what I'm talking about. That's the kind of tip I've been on,
Yeah.
Like you're producing this cum. Okay, cool. That's fun. That's awesome. You rope, you blast. What are you going to do with it? You're just going to flush it down the toilet. That's life force. That's essence.
Yeah, you got to offer it to the gods.
Yeah. God, how good would that feel to like rope to Vishnu or like another Hindu god?
I'm not a spiritual guy, but I do believe that you get what you give.
Yeah.
And so if I'm at home, not always, but I'll jack off my bed.
Yeah.
I'm not a big shooter. I'll come in my hand.
Yeah.
I'll gather it all up. I go outside and I just fling it into the yard.
Sure.
Whoever wants to, you know what I mean? If an animal wants to come and get it, that's cool. If it's, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not spiritual, so I don't know. Maybe it's going somewhere else. Maybe it's going to heaven.
Yeah. You're offering it back into the world. You're putting the energy back into the world.
Yes. Yeah. And that to me is tantric.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I did something similar to that, like the tantric. It wasn't sexual. It was sexual, but it wasn't with another person. It was mostly masturbation. And what I would do is I would call up different hotlines or things like that where they had, this is back in the day, where they had operators answering the phone, and I would just quietly listen to them talk while I masturbated. They didn't know I was masturbating,
right?
But the energy was still exchanged between me and them in a very, like, however you want to imagine it happening, through string theory energy, being connected to all things, whatever. Like, that sexual energy was being transmitted through the phone lines and through our voices, and so that energy was kind of staying in the world. And then I would rope into my hand and I would eat it, so it'd go back into my body, as opposed to just like blasting into a garbage can, or on the floor, or into like a Taco Bell bag or something like that. Which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's kind of what I do now, just because I'm at a point in my life.
It's health conscious too.
Yeah,
pure protein, B12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've eaten a few loads.
Yeah, I've definitely eaten a couple loads. Both out of necessity and curiosity. Peer pressure.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you got going on pong wise these days? It's been a minute since I've tapped into the pong.
Yeah, well, we just finished Vengeance, and it was a little, I don't know, it's the weather, it's global warming, it's so fucking hot out, and everyone was a little subdued.
Yeah.
We did, I was running out of shit to do, honestly, if I'm being totally honest. I didn't really know what to do with the guys. We did the usual ceremony stuff, and I could just see the crowd they just weren't feeling it. So I talked to my guys and I was like, let's do we did the Lena Dunham pinata. It was like a closing ceremony. I was like, let's just fucking do it. I was going to save that for Convergence, but Vengeance seemed better. So I pulled that out, hung it up from a tree, and everyone took turns hitting it,
Mm-hmm.
This guy, Jason, it's the last one in line. Thing hadn't popped yet. And he hits it. All the candy that was inside of it was completely melted because it was so hot. This goo just poured out of it. And, he hit her right in the stomach. And that just kind of split her. And all the guys ran over there and started grabbing just this goo, and they just started eating it. It wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Yeah, it got you over the finish line.
Yeah, and now we can, reconvene and figure out what we're going to do with Convergence.
Yeah. Well, I saw you guys all went to a splash park, like a splash pad at a park afterwards. So that was cool. We got to clean up there. I saw some guys soaping up.
Yeah, everyone was pretty gooey.
Showering up. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. It's always fun those times. I remember we had a pong in Phoenix one year, and it was God, it must have been like 110 degrees, and we just had a water fight. You know,
Yep.
it was just like everybody. We were gonna do a hike through the desert where we tried to just get as dehydrated as we possibly could to get like a sweat lodge thing to get visions.
Right.
But it was like the lawyers wouldn't let us do it. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just have a water fight. So we just got a bunch of solo cups, red solo cups, got the hose out, and just started squirting everybody.
Oh, that's fun.
Slipped. We got the ground so wet and muddy because we must have wasted, man. I can't even imagine the bill at that Airbnb. Water bill must have been insane. But we turned the whole backyard into like the mud pit at Woodstock, and we were just slipping around.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. Oh man, so
Pong.
You gotta. What's that?
Pong.
Pong. What were you calling it? Ping.
When I spell it in the chat, it'll correct.
Yeah.
It'll correct it to ping. I think
I like that.
Ping's pretty fucking funny too.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I guess going on to the fantasies, I got a fantasy lined up, but I'm offer it to you first, see if you want to go first.
I'll go first if you want.
Great. Yeah, hit it.
All right. So live with my wife, no kids, approaching 48 years old, worked in a factory, not making too much money, fucking really super depressed all the time. Come home every day and just like lay on the couch. Sometimes my wife catches me crying, just checks on me, just asks me what's wrong. I tell her, it's the job. I'm just not fulfilled in any way, and she's starting to pressure me about like figuring out something to do. She keeps buying self-help books. I read them and just don't do anything. I come home one day and she bought that book, What Color Is Your Parachute? You know that one? Yeah, so that's sitting there on the table, and I'm like, I'll just read it. And I read the first page and I'm crying because I know what I want to do, and I'm just afraid to say it. She comes home, she's like, did you get a chance to look at the book? And I'm like, yeah. I just start crying. She fucking comes over, grabs me, puts me in a headlock, and she's like, what do you want to do? I'm just like, I can't tell you. And she's like, is it pornography? Do you want to try pornography again? It didn't work out before. Is that what the road you want to go down? I say no. So she lets go. We hang out. Next day, I skip work. I go straight to an ice cream parlor and just eat a bunch of ice cream. I come home early. My wife suspects something. She suspects something. She's like, what? She's like, you smell super sweet, and like your mustache is like sticky. She's like, what happened? I was like, nothing. I just grabbed an ice cream after work. She's like, okay. So I'm like somewhat happier, She's happy about it. Next day, I skip work again, go back to the ice cream parlor, and I walk up to the owner and I tell him, hey, you guys ever have anyone like volunteer to be a shaper? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like a guy that just hangs out outside, and if a kid's got, an ice cream that's melting too fast, I can just go over there and grab it, and I just give it a few licks and reshape it for him. And he's like, no, that's fucking absurd. That's not a thing. He's like, the part of the fun of ice cream is to get, sticky and nasty. I'm just like, well, I was like, I think I could be of service to you if you would put me on. Just try it. He's like, okay. we'll do 1 day a week. He's like, how about you start Saturday? I come home and tell my wife, I was like, I found my dream job. Tell her what it is. She asks me how much it pays, and I tell her it's slightly below minimum wage, and it's sort of going on tips. So I'm making $4 an hour, like a waitress, and she's like, explain the fucking job to me again. And I was like, I'm just a shaper. It's like, I've always wanted to do this. And she's like, I can't do this anymore. So we fight for a couple weeks. Meanwhile, I'm pretty well known in the city as being like the guy to go to. Like, I'm just sit out there, and parents, fathers are like, how do you shape it like that? I don't know how to do this. I said, just give it to me. Grab the cone, just lick it up. I see a couple women there every once in a while that are like, sort of like ogling over me, just staring at me, like watching the way my tongue works. And this woman comes up to me. She's probably 25, and she said, "Hey, you don't do bachelorette parties, do you?" And I was like, "No one's ever asked." She's like, I'm doing like having some friends over. We're gonna play Clue. We're gonna play some other games. We'll be drinking a little bit." And she's like, and then I like want my whole theme to be like an ice cream social. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And so I talk to the owner. I tell him, I say, hey, I'm gonna take off on Saturday because I'm gonna do this bachelorette party. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, do you need me to supply ice cream? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. So we get a couple of gallons of, just the basics, chocolate, vanilla, get like a Rocky Road. I go there and I walk in. I'm dressed as like a little an little ice cream guy. I got a little paper hat on, wearing like striped t-shirts. Everything's tucked in, clean shaven. Got a tray of like 15 ice cream cones, and I'm like, "Hello, girls, time for ice cream." And I walk in, and there's like 8 women, all of them butt naked, and they're all fingering their pussies. And she's like, "All right, she's like, come and reshape it." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Reshape it." She's like, "We've seen what you can do with the cones. Let's see what you can do on the pussy." So I'm just like, this is not what I got into this business. It's to see the joy on a family's face when I reshape a cone. It's not sexual. Like, my wife left me, but we're still married. I don't want to do that. She's like, just try it. So I get down there, the first girl, and give a couple of licks, and she's like, wow, this feels good. And I'm licking it like horizontally. I'm not going up and down. I'm licking it like it's a cone. And she's like, she kind of looks at her friend, just makes a face like, this isn't that good. And then she's like, go to the next girl. I go to the next girl, and same thing happens. And I'm eating her out. I'm trying really hard to do something different. It's just not working. So she's on my face, sort of riding it. She's like using my nose as like a dildo almost. And I turn to the right, and I see the cones all melting on the table. And I'm just like, can we stop this? And they're like, Jesus Christ, yeah, sure, guy. And I get up, I crawl over there, I'm completely naked. Got all these red marks because like they just kind of been tossed around a little bit. And I walk over to the table, and I just start reshaping reshaping every cone. I'm like, sorry that wasn't like pleasurable to you, but like everyone loves ice cream. I reshape all the cones and pass them out, and then I leave. That's it.
Oh man, that's sexy.
Yeah,
that's really sexy. God, I love it how they were just right off the bat super ornery. And, just like
pants
all
off.
business.
All business.
Yeah. Just treating you like you're just basically a tool.
Yeah.
You know, like you're no better than an ice cream scoop to them.
Right.
And like you're just doing, you're doing what you know how to do.
Yeah,
you're doing your best. You're trying your best.
I'm thinking about it as a cone, a dirty cone, and I'm just kind of trying to lap it up. Yeah.
And it didn't work. That's on them. But then I just imagine the rest of them sitting around like rolling their eyes,
right?
Like looking at you and like, ugh. And you're just trying, you're just like this wholesome guy that's just trying to do what you do best.
Just an ice cream guy. Like when it comes down to I'm just an ice cream guy.
Yeah.
Old school, Yeah. I go to a barber shop, like everything I do is I barely watch any TV. I don't have Netflix, don't have the internet. I'm just like an ice cream guy,
Yeah, you do you've got model trains in your basement,
Yes.
Like you listen to baseball on the radio.
Mm-hmm. 4th of July is a huge holiday for me. Like, yeah. Baseball on the radio. That's a good one.
Baseball on the radio. And if you happen to be like, if you turn it on TV, which you don't usually do, you'll turn the volume off on the TV and put the radio announcer on. Yeah. What a great life to be a guy like that.
It's my most
just these simple pleasures.
My most wholesome fantasy, I think.
Yeah, I bet you know how to do like 3 card tricks, but they're good ones.
Yeah, they're decent ones.
Like they'll definitely impress like a group of kids.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was great.
Thanks.
I've noticed a lot of your fantasies have like a wife character that's really supportive of you.
Yeah. Pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine if anybody, any like person, like you're out at a grocery store and there's like a woman there that just even gives you the side eye just for a second, your wife would just fucking stomp them out.
Yeah, she's like, you could tell she's looking for it.
Yeah.
Like she's waiting for it to happen. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, but she's just preparing for it.
Yeah.
Just getting mean.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. I would love it if that happened. Like my instinct would be to try to calm the situation down, but I would fucking love it. It'd make me feel like such a big shot.
Just a big cat fight, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool fantasy. I like it.
Thanks. What you got?
All right, so I got some notes here. I really want to nail this one because I think it's really, really sexy. All right, so I work at a tech startup. I'm like a young guy, late 20s, and it's like a pretty boring job. There's not much to it. Work on kind of like the development end, so I'm basically in front of a computer. And I work at a team with a bunch of other guys, but there's this one girl on the team, and she's cute. We get along pretty well. I haven't really pursued it because I kind of like, to me, it's like, if she wanted to do something, I'd be into it, but it's not really worth trying to like mess up a work situation over it. So I've always just kind of like not really pursued it. But there's this guy from like sales. He's kind of a hotshot kind of a guy, not a hotshot, but he's like a social butterfly around the office. And he's the guy that always does like the plans all like the happy hours and all like the work functions that are supposed to like build morale and stuff like that. So he volunteers for all that shit. Very social guy, and he's always coming over to my part of the office, and like he'll talk to me and like bullshit with me on kind of like surface level stuff. Like he likes to talk about basketball. He knows I like basketball. He likes to talk about that Jordan documentary, and like he knows I like the Bulls, so he'll just keep talking about like what a great player Michael Jordan is, for the purpose of being able to flirt with the girl in my group. So he'll like set up this kind of like banter with me and then pivot over to flirting with the girl who works next to me. And I'm like, it's annoying, you know. I know it's like kind of disingenuous on his part, but it's fine. And so one day he like he's talking to me, and then he goes over and starts talking to the girl, and he's like, hey, listen, I've got this, I'm going to be having a cookout, and I'm going to be live streaming a Diplo show live from Berlin. He's playing a DJ set, and I'm going to be streaming it, and I'm having some people over. I'm going to be cooking out. Got a pork shoulder. I'm going to be making some pulled pork. It's going to be great. And she's like, yeah, that's cool. I'd love to go. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, you know, I like pulled pork. I'd like to go. And he's like, oh, yeah. Come on by. I'll shoot you an email with my address on it. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of know, you know, in the back of my head somewhere, I'm like, he doesn't even have my fucking email. I'm never getting this invite, you know. And he's going to make up some bullshit excuse. So I'm just fucking seething over this, you know, like how, like this motherfucker's not going to invite me to his cookout. I'm just like, the whole rest of the week leading up to it, I'm just pacing around my apartment. I'm losing sleep, just getting so fucking pissed off at this guy. I'm like fixated on like what a prick this guy is. I've never been so angry in my life. So I ask around, I find out his address, and I show up to the cookout. He's like, oh, hey, man, glad you could make it. Sorry, I tried to send you the invite. I'm glad that you found it, you know, because I guess I got your email address wrong or something like that. I don't know. But whatever. I'm glad that you're here. I can tell that he's super annoyed that I'm there, you know, like he wanted to just invite like a few people and just basically as set up so he could flirt with this girl that he really likes, that he has a crush on. So he's cooking up this pork shoulder. It's been in the smoker for, you know, slow and low for about 15, 20 hours. It's ready to get pulled out. Everybody's super hungry. The Diplo set is about to come on. He's got it on his TV, and he's like, who wants pulled pork? And everybody's like, oh yes, because everybody's just been eating like chips and watermelon and shit like that. So he goes to get the pulled pork, to take the shoulder out of the smoker to pull it, and it's not there, you know. And what I had done is I had snuck in, and I had stolen the shoulder, and I brought it around the corner where I had a Smoky Joe set up, and I put it in the Smoky Joe with like a shitload of charcoal in there. So this thing is going at like 500 degrees, insane like that. So I got the shoulder and sitting in there, and then I like dip back into the party, and this guy is like, where the fuck is, his name's Kyle. Kyle's like, where the fuck is this pork shoulder? He lifts it up. He's like, did anybody take it out? So he's like rummaging around his whole house, like kind of like frantic. Everybody's getting hungry. He's tearing up his whole place trying to find this pork shoulder. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, Kyle, what's the deal, man? Everybody's hungry out here. What's up with that shoulder? I thought we were going to get some pulled pork sandwiches. And everybody's like, yeah, Kyle, what's up, man? What's the deal with that? And he's like, so he finally like fesses up. And he's like, listen, I don't know what happened, but I can't find it. I can't find the shoulder. I don't know what to tell you guys. You know, this is really embarrassing. I don't know what happened to it. And I yell out, I'm like, dude, how you lose a whole pork shoulder? And everybody starts laughing, you know. And he's like, I don't know. I'll keep looking for it. You know, the Diplo show's on. Sit back, enjoy, refill your drinks. I'll find it or figure something out. So he goes back to try to look for this thing again. Then I step out to my car. I come back with a whole bunch of extra large pizzas. I've got a Supreme. I've got a cheese. I've got a veggie one. I've got a meat lovers. And I'm like, hey, everybody. You know, you don't have to worry about being hungry because I got pizzas. And everybody's like, oh, hell yeah. Because everybody's just starving at this point. So I basically saved the day. You know, I show up with these pizzas. But it's just like awkward timing where clearly I had the pizzas ready, you know. like, and nobody really clocks that except for Kyle. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, there's something going on here. And so everybody's eating pizza, and this girl that he has a crush on, Rachel, who he has a crush on, is like, oh my God, Nathan, that is really, I've never seen this side of you. You really just took charge, and you know, you got everybody fed, and this is really, honestly, this is really cool. This is a really cool side of you. I really like it. I'm like, cool, thanks. And Kyle's like sitting there kind of like seething inside because he knows I fucked up his, like, he doesn't know how or like exactly how I do it, but he knows that I had something to do with this, you know. And so he's socializing. I slip out of the party. I go around the corner to get this pork shoulder, which at this point has been in this like 500-degree Smoky Joe for like an hour. So this thing is like fucking burnt to shit, right? I grab it, I slip it back into the smoker, and I come back out to the party, and I'm like, the smoke starts to like, the smell of burning starts to like waft into the whole place, and I'm like, Kyle, did you check your smoker for the pork shoulder? And he's like, oh, what the fuck? And he sees all this like burning coming out of his smoker, and he opens it up, and this pork shoulder is just like burnt, inedible, just like a crispy, you know. And everybody's laughing at him, you know, and I'm laughing with them, but I'm also doing it in like this joking way where, like, you know, it's I'm just kind of like busting his balls in like this like loving way, you know. Anyways, long story short, I go home with the girl, you know. This is a Friday. We show back up to work on a Monday. He walks in. He's just had this whole weekend to just like try to wrap his mind around like what I did and how I did it. So he shows up on Monday, and I'm in the middle of the office, and I'm like in a chair crying, and everybody in the office is like around me, comforting me and consoling me. And he walks in, he's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, Nathan's really, really upset, and he has something he wants to tell you. So last week he found out his dad was diagnosed with depression. It's just really been eating him up inside. And Kyle's like, okay. And so I get up and I walk over to him, and like they're like everybody in the office is like encouraging me to go talk to him. And I'm like, Kyle, I ruined your barbecue. I ruined your cookout. I'm the one that burnt your pork shoulder. I was very confused. I was acting out because I just found out my dad has depression. And that's why I did it. At no point do I apologize, you know, to him for it. I just tell him why I did it.
Blame your dad.
Yeah, blame my dad for his depression. And everybody's like, it's just so like cheering and like so happy that I just, you know, was honest with him. You know, they're so proud of me for doing this and you know, persevering such adversity. And he feels pressure to forgive me because everybody is like, you know, coddling me basically and handling me with kid gloves. And he's like, all right, yeah, you know what? I forgive you. Don't worry about it, man. It's fine. So I'm like, I appreciate that. And the girl who he has a crush on stands up, and she's like, well, since we're all here, I'm going to take this opportunity to formally announce Nathan and we spoke to HR this morning, and we put it on record with them. And we want to officially let everybody know that we are in a relationship. It's a strictly oral sexual relationship. We spent all weekend having oral sex, and we told HR that we're in an oral sexual relationship, and we just wanted to let everybody else know that. And so people start applauding, and they're looking at us like, you like with adoring eyes, like you'd look at a kid who's like doing some kind of performance, you know, just like excited and adoring. And they're like, oh my God, we're so happy for you. And she's like, and we're going to be having a party this weekend to celebrate. And we're thinking about using this party to go all the way. And so if anybody wants to come and join us in that journey, and be with us while we do that, it's this weekend. And so I go to Kyle, I'm like, listen, man, we'd really like you to come. You know, you've been so cool about this whole thing. We'd really like you to show up. And everybody's like, yeah, Kyle, come on, man. It'll be fun. Kyle, come on. He's like, oh, okay, all right. I'm like, look, I'll send you an invite. It'll be great. So I send Kyle an invite. And the invite is full of all sorts of like backhanded, like disses of his barbecue. You know, I'm like, come on over to our party. We're gonna have burnt ends, but they're supposed to be burnt, and it's gonna be barbecue done right. You know, stuff like that. And it's like, this is a Roy Orbison themed party, right? So in order to get in the door, Roy Orbison is one of Rachel's favorite artists. In order to get in the door, you got to dress like Roy. We're gonna have a contest: who did Roy the best. Whoever does it the best gets a trophy. It's gonna be a great time. But in order to get in the door, you got to dress like Roy. So party comes. This guy shows up dressed like Roy Orbison with the stupid glasses, with the tinted frames and the suit, black on white, and so he shows up. He's the only one there dressed like Roy Orbison. He's looking around and nobody else is dressed like Roy Orbison. I'm like, oh shit, man, I didn't let you know. Yeah, we took that off the table, or we're not doing that anymore. Sorry, man, I should have let you know. So he's sitting around there in the middle of summer in this like hot suit, feeling like an idiot. And, you know, we're thanking everybody for being there. And like, you know, everybody's like standing around and we're like, thank you for coming. We're going to be taking our relationship to a full sexual relationship soon. We hope you guys all can join us. Kyle, meanwhile, is feeling super fucking awkward. So he takes out his Juul and he starts vaping. I'm like, Kyle, come on, man. Take that shit outside. And he was like, Kyle, come on, take that outside. We don't want to breathe that shit in here. And so like sheepishly, he walks outside and he finishes vaping. And he comes back into the house, and the house is empty. But he hears like music coming from a bedroom. So he like walks down the hallway, and he walks into this room, and it's like Roy Orbison is like blasting out of this room. And he steps in there, and there's nothing. It's hot. It's got to be like 98 degrees in there. There's all the vents are duct taped over, so none of the AC is getting in. It's just like a crowd of people, shoulder to shoulder, standing around this bed, and it smells fucking terrible. It smells like onions, body odor. You know when like you have diarrhea really bad, and you're not sure you wiped all the way, and you can kind of smell it, or at least you think you can smell it. You know, you kind of get paranoid that like, oh man, do I have shit on me somewhere? You know, like that kind of smell. There's just all these bodies, shoulder to shoulder. Some guys have their shirts off. Some women are just in their underwear. There's like flies in there, cockroach on a guy's shoulder. People are making noises, like you can hear people breathing. He walks past pushes past all these people, and he sees on a bed is me having missionary sex with this girl, Rachel. And I'm like pumping at like a slow rate, and everybody's sitting around watching. I'm just like moving, and I'm going faster and faster and faster, and I'm hitting like a cadence that's like, you know, getting pretty fast. And she's starting to moan and feel really good. And I start yelling, Air Jordan, 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 Air Jordan. And I pull out, and I rope all over this guy's face. Like I give him a shot, this guy Kyle, that like goes, because I'm on the bed and he's standing by the bed, so it like goes up. A little bit of the cum gets in his nose, a little bit gets in his eye, like inside his eyeball, on his eyebrow, on his bangs. And he looks down on me, and I'm just like holding my dick in my hand, just with this like smug, completely relaxed look. And I'm smiling, and I look up at him and I say, and one, bitch, and one. And he just gets like, rage just starts rushing through him, and he just jumps at me and starts choking me. And everybody just pulls him off and is like, this is a violence-free zone, Kyle. We don't do that here. We're going to ask you to leave. We'd like it if you left. And they throw him out. And he's like, what the fuck just happened? So he shows up to work the next day, and HR immediately calls him in. And they say, listen, we heard over the weekend that you assaulted another employee at a function. And that's just, we can't tolerate that kind of behavior here. I mean, Nathan's talking about like attempted murder charges. You know, you choked him, and that's not okay. And so we're gonna either you resign or he's gonna press charges. And so Kyle's like, oh God. All right, I guess I'll have to resign. So the police are there and they escort him out, and he's got like a box of his shit, and he walks by my desk, and I've got a Michael Jordan jersey from the Wizards. And I'm just waving at him. I'm like, bye-bye, bitch. Bye, bitch. Bye-bye. Like mouthing that at him, you know? And that's the end of the fantasy.
That was nice. Just pure revenge.
Yeah, it's a little bit revenge, a little bit sexual, you know?
Yeah.
Because I imagine...
So the whole office was watching you fuck?
Yeah. But it was
a
like...
tech company, right?
Yeah, it was a tech company, but it wasn't just like watching us fuck. They were watching us like consummate this next step of our relationship. Yeah. Effectively just watching us fuck, standing around watching us fuck.
Yeah. A diarrhea smell in the air.
Yeah. Just like air and ass smell. You know what I mean?
How long was he out there vaping?
I don't know. He was out there for a pretty long time, but everybody was able to like move into the room, get comfortable, get sexy, you know,
get in the mood. Yeah.
Get in the mood. There are definitely mosquitoes in that room. And, but I just thought it'd be a cool thing to like, the way I see it in this fantasy is that me and this girl end up in a lifelong relationship, just completely like having a connection and a partnership that's just completely pure, and having like 8 kids and just being totally happy. And
she doesn't even
go ahead.
She doesn't even remember. She doesn't remember him. I mean, he's like
at all
erased from the memory. Yeah,
at all. So it's like just me. Like, sure, I got revenge on the guy, but it was just me pursuing my best life that just happened to be in conflict with his.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought that'd be pretty cool. A pretty cool thing to happen.
Very cool.
Yeah.
True story, I jacked off in the shower, and I jacked off with conditioner, you know, because you can't really jack off with shampoo.
Yeah. It's like creamy.
And so I Blue Clown, rinsed off, got out, dried myself off, went into the bedroom, completely dry at this point, lay down on the bed, look down at my toes, and they're literally covered in cum.
Yeah.
I'm like, all 10 of my toes had cum on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what'd you do?
I cleaned off one. The other one was like dry.
Yeah.
It was like drying up.
Yeah.
And then like an hour later, I just kind of picked it off my skin like it was like school or something like that. Yeah. Felt good.
That's great. I'm glad that happened to you. There's something about like when cum comes in contact with water, it takes on a completely different consistency. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's like Bondo or something like that. It's
turns into like rubber cement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other day I had post cum, you know, and I was wearing shorts with no underwear. I was going commando, and there was totally post cum showing through my shorts.
Were you out in public?
I was out in my yard.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's not bad. I caught it before I actually went out. I was planning on going out in the store.
I've seen videos of women like walking around, like going shopping, going to like Walmart and having cum all over their face.
That's cool.
It's a porn category now. I don't know what they call it, but it's
really
cool.
So
yeah,
it's not like a prank thing.
I don't think so. I think there's like I think there's a porn company that like that's their thing.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder if it's actually real cum.
Yeah,
if it's just like makeup. Well, the reason why I ask is because like you'd have to get a pretty special kind of a load in order for it to translate over that period of time.
Right. A drive. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to drive to the mall, like unless like you're getting roped down in the bathroom and then just walking out to like the cashier immediately, or that's just going to dry up pretty quickly. And it's just going to look like, milk or something, like you were eating cereal or got toothpaste on you. It's not going to translate as cum.
Unless that was like just a fucking retarded load,
Yeah. Yeah, it was a retarded load, and then maybe you sprayed some hairspray over it to like keep it intact. I bet you could do shit like that. God, imagine that. Like, that's an industry that I want to be in. Like, you show up, and the problem you have to solve at work that day is how do you keep this load looking as good as you possibly can while this woman is walking to Claire's, walking to Cheesecake Factory, walking to Target. She's like opening a freezer. Like that's a problem I want to solve. I think that'd be fun.
I also wonder if it's legal.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. I mean, like, could you walk around with like other bodily fluids on you, like shit, and like?
I mean, if you pissed yourself, you don't you don't fucking go to jail,
right?
But if you walk in public with like a fucking just a stupid dummy load all over you, then I don't know, crosses the line for sure.
Yeah,
it's sexy.
It's extremely sexy. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like it's very voyeuristic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need. I feel like you need a lot of goof. You need like a couple guys worth of goof for it to really register.
Just a straight dumbass load on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of goof.
It's tons of goof.
Yeah. I'll have to check some of that out because, like, it's what's people's reaction, Like, are they into it? Is it?
I'll see what I can find.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that that kind of content exists.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got, Johnny.
Me too.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
No, I like ending early. Mike likes to just kind of drag it on,
Yeah, no, we can keep this one tight. Give me a chance to go to bed early.
Yeah.
Well, it's good talking to you, John.
Yeah, I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Take care. Bye.